This is weird.
Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Amy of Melbourne. My name's Amy, obviously, and today I am joined by this very special guest. Who are you? This is Michael, and he is my husband.
Hi.
So the reason that Michael is joining me today is because he is going to take us, you and me, on a tour of Nippori Fabric Town in Tokyo. The start, like March, when was it? March? February?
Very much, yep.
February, March this year, Michael went on a trip over to Japan to do a photography course, and he was kind enough to stop into Nippori Fabric Town to take some video for me and for you. So we're going to watch that now, and he's going to tell us where we are and what we're seeing. What is Nippori Fabric Town?
So Nippori Fabric Town is a section of Tokyo that's dedicated largely to fabric. There's a number of stores there, from sort of Tomato, which is the sort of big chain, and a whole bunch of smaller stores, but there's also other stores selling stuff like leathercraft and buttons and a whole bunch of other stuff that I have no idea what it is. That's the start of Nippori, I think.
Okay, so where are we here?
So this is coming just off the platform from Nippori Station. So Nippori is the sort of northern part of the Yamanote line. And so this is just coming from the station and then walking down the pathway towards the fabric town. So there's a massive staircase that'll come down, and from memory, there's a sign that on the left-hand side that'll sort of say that you've come into Nippori Fabric Town.
Is it easy to get to Nippori?
Yeah, so because it's on the Yamanote line, which is
I don't know what that is.
Which is the main train line that goes around Tokyo itself.
Okay.
Nippori is actually one of the main stations. For example, if you're coming from the airport on some of the fast trains, a lot of them will stop actually through Nippori, stop at Nippori.
You got there early, everything's shut.
Yeah, so most of the stores in Japan actually open usually around 10 o'clock. Tomato and stuff actually ended up opening a bit later, so they opened at 11 o'clock. So yeah, I ended up killing a bit of time sort of wandering around having a look. Although admittedly, if you're not into fabric and fabric related things, there is not as much to do in Nippori, let alone when all the stores aren't open.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. That store on the right hand side there was just sort of like they had a little bit of fabric-y stuff, but it was largely like cheap clothes, a lot of kids related stuff.
I can see some restaurants. So there are a lot of restaurants in that area, or is it just fabric?
I didn't see that many restaurants. So close to the station, and this is sort of pretty common with train stations in Japan, there's a lot of stuff concentrated around there. So there were a few restaurants or a few chains. There was a Moss Burger, I think, from memory around the corner. But as we sort of go into the fabric town, that's where you get fewer and fewer stuff. There's another convenience store further up.
Family Mart.
In there, yeah. You know, if people are interested in go to Japan, convenience stores very much become a staple of places to stop in and get food. Unlike, we have in Australia where our convenience stores are incredibly expensive. They're actually pretty affordable in Japan, so you get an opportunity to get some, stop in, get some snacks, etc.
So where are we here?
Yeah, I have no idea.
A random fabric store.
Random bit. There you can see Tomato in the reflection. Yeah, you can see the sign for Fabric Street on there.
Okay, cool.
It's like
a lot of people with suitcases.
Yeah. So
do you think that you should have brought a suitcase when you went shopping in Fabric Town for me?
Possibly for you. Trying to purchase stuff when you're not there and you don't have a familiarity with what you're looking for is really difficult. This is walking just off the station, so coming around from where we were earlier. So there's a kids' clothing store. So that's where I picked up some stuff for the kids, which was really cool and pretty affordable, particularly compared to some of the stuff we had here.
Though admittedly, Australia is one of the most expensive countries in the world. So
yeah, this
is relative to us. If you're in the US, you probably will think differently, or Europe.
Yeah.
But for us in Australia, this is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Shouldn't say cheap, it's affordable.
Yeah, so close to the station, you get sort of, it's more the non-fabric related. There's a few sort of businesses and that sort of stuff. It's more once as you sort of get deeper and deeper into Fabric Town, you get more and more fabric stores and that. You can see this is a sort of start. There's a bag shop there. Yep. Ian's son, I think, was dressmaking. So
lots and lots of like trims and things.
And then the one thing that you sort of notice as you sort of go through is there'll be sort of like a fabric store on the right hand side here. And then you'll have it interspersed with sort of seemingly relatively random stores as well. So it's not just purely fabric. Obviously, that is the main focus. You can see a cigarette vending machine there. And then, yeah, so this is sort of some more of the other fabric stores that I came in.
Awesome. They got lots of remnants outside. That looks really cool. And the same with the next one.
But compared to something that, you know, that we have like in Australian Spotlight, where it seems to be largely just bolts, they had a lot of offcuts and samples and random bits and pieces that were really, really cheap. Yeah, at least, yeah, from what I could tell.
Lots of patterns at the front too.
So you can see, yeah,
and books.
Yeah, from memory, I think there was a sort of largely
trimmings.
There we go, trimming.
Oh, that's awesome! Lots and lots of like ribbons and other bits and pieces in there.
Yeah, I will say that I did move quite quickly because I was very self-conscious about filming. So I had the camera strapped to my backpack.
We appreciate it nonetheless. Oh, so that's tomato.
Yeah, so there's from memory there's 5 different tomato stores, and you'll see there's a large map there.
Oh, wow.
That sort of outlines where they all are. So each of the tomato stores were based on a different specialty. There was one that was predominantly around furnishings and like pillowcases and that sort of stuff. Then there was one based around discount fabrics. There's a main one, which is sort of 5 stories of fabric plus craft kits and that sort of stuff. So each one sort of specialized in a different one.
And this one's called Elegance. And then this one, Nagato?
Yeah, and there seemed to be, I think it was from memory that Nagato one, there was a couple of them.
Oh, wow. Cool. So Tomato's not the only store that has multiple shops. A lot of them do that to economize space, I suppose.
Yeah, so you can see there a lot of stuff for 100 yen, you know.
Yeah. How much would 100 yen be in Australian dollars?
When I was there, it was about 100 yen, was roughly $1.
Okay, cool. So you could buy that for $1 a meter, which is incredibly cheap.
So there's another
tomato and another tomato. Oh my God, there is so many tomato stores.
Yeah, so that one is the main tomato building.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you can see up there's a button shop.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so they just had...
guy.
So you can see there...
Yeah, wow, that's a lot of buttons.
A ton of buttons. And then there's a whole bunch of other sort of smaller fabric stores as you go through.
Yeah, that looks like they've got quite a lot of vinyl there, like for bag making and things like that. And another tomato store.
And another tomato store. But yeah, each one seems to specialize in a slightly different thing.
Cool. And Buzz Lightyear.
And Buzz Lightyear.
Who Sunny is. Nice. Sewing machine shop, I think there. Janome, Brother, Singer, Juki, Baby Lock, and some other ones I can't read. Yeah, you can see all the signs. They all say Fabric Town, Fabric City. That looks like quite a lot of vinyl and leather. And like... yeah, bag making stuff at Mix Handmade.
Yeah, so that was one of the leather crafting stores.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's where they had a whole bunch of sort of different scraps and offcuts and smaller things like leather tags and that sort of stuff at the front.
Was there more than one leather store? Because I know in Melbourne we basically only have one.
Yeah, so I definitely saw there was 2 that were the same company that had 2 different locations, but that both sold very similar things. But I'm sure there were others. Sort of as you went away from the main street, there was probably more things there. So that was a print-on-demand t-shirt company and the ever-present vending machine. So
with the leather stores, are they just bag making, or did they look like they had other things?
No, it wasn't just bag making. So they had, it was largely just leather craft in general. So the tools, the offcuts, the dyes, leather making kits, that sort of stuff.
Awesome.
There's a bottle shop.
If you get really overwhelmed with the fabric shopping, stop in at the bottle-o.
So you can see and leather.
Oh, and leather. Okay, cool.
So that was another one of the leather stores.
There aren't a lot of cars. Is that just because of the time of day that you were there?
Cars, they're not sort of a massive thing anywhere. Particularly, this is sort of more in northern Japan. There's not a huge amount of traffic in
northern
general.
Japan.
Northern Tokyo.
Not the Tokyo. Okay.
There wasn't a huge amount of traffic apart from there was a lot of delivery vehicles and that sort of stuff. But because people sort of largely are on bikes, it's never sort of a massive amount of traffic.
One of the big things that I read about and see a lot on social media about Japan is Japanese denim. Was there a lot of Japanese denim here?
I didn't see a lot.
Cool. Okay.
That's very likely because I simply didn't know what I was looking for.
You know what denim looks like?
No, I know. Yeah.
I feel like if they had it there, they'd be advertising that that's what it was. Like big, like come here and buy this specialty Japanese denim of super high quality.
Yeah. One thing I did see, not necessarily in Nippori, was that there was another denim store. They were pushing Okinawa denim, but when you actually looked at where it was made, it wasn't made in Japan. It was made in, I think it was in Thailand from memory. So something to be really conscious of, particularly when you're in tourist areas, that the fabric, even though it may say, that it's made in Japan, etc., although the brand is Japanese, the material itself may not be made for there. So something just to be conscious of.
But there was definitely fabric that you saw there that was made in Japan.
Yeah, so most of the fabric, in fact, that I saw there was made in Japan. Anything that is sort of made there is very clearly labelled as made in Japan.
Yeah.
And in fact, as when I was going through Tomato, a majority of the fabric was actually made domestically.
When you say it's labelled that it's made in Japan, is that written in English or is it written in Japanese or Chinese or both?
In English.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it was very clearly marked. This is going back towards the station.
So we've sort of walked down the street and we're coming back around.
Yeah, there's probably, I think it's like 5 or 6 blocks worth of fabric stores. It's very clear when you've got to the end, because suddenly, rather than being fabric store after fabric store after fabric store, it very much sort of changes into a standard sort of Japanese street.
Okay, cool.
The number of fabric stores sort of drop off.
If I was going, or someone like me who's super into fabric and crafting, how long could I spend in this area of Japan? I mean, apart from forever, but like, what would be a reasonable time to be able to look in enough shops for someone who's really into it?
Probably half a day.
Half a day.
It depends on how much time you want to spend sort of, I guess, perusing all of it. There is a lot of stuff.
I mean, it's me. You've jumped with me before for fabric. How long would I want to genuinely look at it?
Oh, look, you'd probably dedicate a day.
A full day.
A full day.
Starting from 11 until shops closed at sort of 6-ish.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of stuff, right? So you can see here, this is the main tomato store.
Okay. I feel like I could spend an entire day just in the main tomato store. Possibly.
Yeah, so it was 5 stories of incredibly densely packed fabric.
Go to all of them.
They're all spread over sort of multiple levels. That's the one thing that's really different from, Australia, is that in Japan a lot of stores are multi-level, but they'll take a relatively small shop front. So,
and that's like, because we've both been to Japan before, different shops will have their own level. They can have their own level. So when you're walking down the street in Japan, it can be a good idea to look up, which we're really not used to in Australia. We mostly just have like shopping centres rather than shopping streets. And even then, a shop will just take the floor space. There usually won't be upstairs, let alone 6 or 7 floors up. But that's really, really common in Japan. But I don't see much like other craft stuff. So I don't see yarn, I don't see other things.
No, so it tended to be predominantly fabric. Tomato seemed to have a lot more sort of tools and bag making accessories and that sort of stuff. But in terms of like, if you were looking for say craft kits or other stuff like that, I actually ended up going to, I think it's Yuzawara is the other one. I had to end up going there. And then there was another really big store inside of Shinjuku.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just outside of Shinjuku, which I think I got footage of.
So if you're sort of going for a really quick trip, you've only got a little bit of limited time, you could maybe just pop into the crafty store in Shinjuku when you do other things there.
Yeah, and that one was really, really close to the station. So it meant like, I got out of Shinjuku Station, which if anyone has been there is quite a nightmare because it's very intense. I think it's the busiest station in the world. The craft store, fabric store, whatever, was only probably like a 5-minute walk from there. So it was really close to the station. Yeah, if you're looking for it, it was quite near the cat billboard, the very famous cat billboard.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know. So there's no, like, none of these are sort of like, in Australia would be Spotlight, or I think in America it'd be like Joann's. There's nothing like that. Or there's less like that. And certainly not in Nippori. Nippori is for fabric.
Yeah. So Nippori was very much like a fabric sort of stores with some of the other extra bits added on.
Haberdashery type things, or leather, or
that's right.
Things that are like very connected, not like adjacent, like a yarn store.
That's right. So when I went to the store in Shinjuku, for example, that was sort of more of a mix. So they had a floor for buttons, a floor for cosplay, a floor for craft kits, a floor for wool. Okay. So that was very much more like a Spotlight that we would have here.
Yeah.
Versus, as I said, like Tomato was predominantly fabric, and then they had, some bag making accessories, some craft kit, but nowhere near the extent that, say, the other store did.
Oh, we're inside. Where did we go?
So this will be inside one of the tomato stores.
I can see little tomatoes everywhere.
Yeah. So a lot of you can see the prices that were all per meter, so everything was in metric.
Things look like they're around about like $3 a meter. That's insane.
So a lot of the stuff was seemed to be considerably cheaper than what we have here. Everything was really clearly organized, labeled. The biggest challenge, obviously, is a lot of it. Whilst a lot of the signage at the top, you can see.
Hi, Michael. You look sad and stressed.
You can see the English sign saying that that's plain cotton fabric, so that was fine. But then when it comes to the actual labels themselves, they were in Japanese.
Okay.
This is where having Google Translate, and particularly Google Translate offline, was a massive savior. So I was able to sort of hold it up and work out what it was from there. That said, as I said, a lot of it will say made in Japan in English, so that made that part really easy. But I do recommend that. I had a lot of trouble with phone reception, so downloading the Japanese Google Translate offline made a big difference for being able to sort of navigate it.
Good tip.
So there's a whole bunch of fabric that I had no idea what it was.
The amount of times that he called me from Japan being like, I don't know what I'm looking at. What is this?
Yeah.
Is this something you want? Do you like this thing?
I'm sure everyone's going to laugh, but I couldn't tell the difference between, was it broderie anglaise and lace? Yeah,
Anything. You were just like, is this what? It's just like...
As someone whose interest is predominantly electronics, shopping for fabric is very, very confusing. But we got there. We got there.
We
in
did.
the end.
I've got a lovely bag of amazing things that I'm going to show you guys.
So this is the top, I think it's the top floor, 5th floor of Tomatoes. So this is a Tomato main store. So you can see here, like, there's a massive section of YKK zips, because obviously they're Japanese zip.
So they're really good quality zips. Like that's one of the ones you want to look at.
Yeah. So Tomato store, from memory, no elevator that I found.
Japan is inconsistently accessible. So if you are someone who has accessibility needs, some places are absolutely amazing and incredible, and other places are pointless and terrible. I remember there was one train station we went to when we brought our daughter there, and she was like, 6 months old, baby, not walking, not even...
Oh, there is an elevator.
Only, like, barely crawling. Oh, there you go, they've got one. That's good. Anyway, so we took her to Japan, and there was one train station we went to, and it was like escalators and lifts, except for like 10 stairs. And there was just no other option. And I was like, what? So, like, there was the two of us were able to, lift things and stick her in the carrot, all that sort of stuff. But, if you had a wheelchair, like, what do you do at that moment? To stop back on the train and go to another station? Like, it's inconsistent. But then other places are amazing. And there are lots of lifts, but they're often harder to find. They're in sort of areas that are less obvious.
Yeah.
But they're definitely there in a lot of places, particularly big places. But if you're going into certain small shops or multi-level different shops, they're not always there. So it's just something to be aware of if you have mobility issues, or if you have kids with you, or other things that would stop you from being able to use stairs. I see shiny things.
Yeah, so I think I saw a label that said sort of formal.
Yep.
But you can see, so satin. Yeah, so everything was really clearly sort of earmarked which floors were what.
Yep.
So it was relatively easy to find out.
They've got lots of trims. Like, there's lots of things to add to your fabric to really, like, change it or utilize it to its best quality, I suppose, without having to spend a lot of money on the fabric itself, or do a lot of all those little details yourself.
Yeah.
I see lots of, like, bits to add onto, like, collars and all sorts of things.
Yeah, so everything was sort of really pretty clearly labelled, so it's easy to sort of work out what it was, how much it cost. But
that's the lace that you thought was braided around lace, but it's lace.
But yeah, if you're obviously familiar with it, which I'm definitely not, obviously navigating this is a lot easier. Most of this to me looks like fabric, versus when you know what you're looking for, you're able to sort of narrow it down very quickly and find out exactly what you are looking for.
Yeah, though I would imagine that for anyone, this would be overwhelming. Like, the amount of just stuff. There's so much fabric.
So much. so much fabric.
Yeah. We did research before you went so that we could, like, pinpoint where you should go to shop for me, because I couldn't go. I will say most people that we watch said the same thing, that it's really overwhelming because there's just so much to see. There's so many stores, and your brain kind of starts to almost delete information because it gets overwhelmed by how much there is.
Yeah.
I do find that with Japan in general as well. There's a lot of good, but just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they managed to pack the stores really densely.
If anything, this one isn't packed super densely, to be honest, compared to other ones that we've been to, other stores and things.
Yeah. The signs there sort of labels everything. It's all in Japanese, but Google Translate will be able to sort of get you through that. So this is the ground floor of the Tomato main store. One of the cool things that I found is at the very front of the store, they had a whole bunch of like clearance fabric. So it was stuff that was sort of end of line or, so there was some, cheap offcuts. There was some sort of discounted stuff and obviously just end of line, bits and pieces from the bolts that you could get relatively cheap. Cool. So, I picked up some Power Rangers fabric for, I think it was like 50 cents for a meter of it. So it was the leather crafting store.
Okay, cool. Went back and looked at it again, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So you can see there, they're just pieces of leather. Yeah,
like little remnants and like a lot of like fairly thin straps that I think would be good for bags and bag straps. So many colours. Ooh, I want to go in that button store very badly and buy many things from there. If you're in Australia, the Crafty Squirrel from Ballarat does craft tours to Japan and gets lots of buttons and all sorts of things. So if you're interested in going, you don't want to go alone, then you can always have a look at the Crafty Squirrel. It does seem to be a fairly quiet place.
Yeah, there wasn't a huge amount of people. It was pretty sort of relaxed.
Like if you're comparing it to Akihabara or Shinjuku or anywhere like that.
Oh, massively quieter. Yeah. It was pretty relaxed. As the biggest challenge that I found, apart from sort of working out what fabrics to buy for you, was I guess trying to find food. That was probably the biggest challenge. There were, as I said, a few restaurants, there's a few convenience stores, so you can get food. But if you want to sort of sit down and go to a cool restaurant, that wasn't really there. Apparently nearby on the other side, so not where Nippori is, but on the other side of the train station, there's a few more things.
Okay.
So I went straight from Nippori straight to Shinjuku.
The rest of it's going to go in a montage. Thank you so much for showing us around Nippori Fabric Town.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I'm sure that everyone else appreciates it. If you appreciate it, make sure you put it in the comments. You say, thanks, Michael. So you're going to go now.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you guys what he got me in Japan.
See you, everyone.
Okay, I've gotten rid of him now, so we can have a look at my haul of stuff. This isn't absolutely everything. I'm going to show you everything because I videoed it when we got home, but he went months ago and I've been sitting here with this bag of stuff waiting for me to finally get to use it, waiting for me to film this with him, but it's been really difficult. So some of the things aren't here. I'll show them to you, but not all of them are here with me now. Some of them are in the garage. Some of them have been used for other things. Some of them, I don't know where they are, but they've all been great. So I'm just going to show you what I have in this big bag. So much stuff. Let's start with the biggest thing, and that is the fabric. Mike bought me one main fabric. It's what I asked for, which is Broderie on Glaze. I had a look at Rosary Apparel's video, and she was looking at Broderie on Glaze, and we don't really get a lot here. So that's what I wanted to have a look at, and that's what I wanted. Through much consultation, he bought me this beautiful piece. I'm very happy with it. It's really beautiful. It's subtle enough. I'm not one who likes, very overtly floral things. So I'm very happy with this. I don't know what to make with it. Originally, I was going to make a Danu dress with it, but now, because it took so long and I didn't have it, I think I might save it for my next dress pattern I'm coming out with, which I think is the Pepperona dress. So keep a look out for that, but that's currently what's planned for that piece. He got me a few, these give me conflict. He got me a few of these. I don't know whether you can see it, but these are bag handles. There was quite a lot of bag making supplies in Japan that he saw, and he got me a few of them. So that's really great. That one is like green and leaf looking. It looked very whimsical, and I like that. So that was great. He also got me this little bag making kit, and honestly, I don't remember what it looks like. I remember he called me, video called me and asked me if that was the one I wanted, and I said yes. So I know I like it. I just don't remember what it looks like, but I'll show you when I make it. If you would like to see me make any of this stuff, it's a lot of kits, let me know in the comments. Some of these gorgeous wooden bag handles. I think these are so great. This is from Bag Meister Kiyohara, and I love them. I can't wait to use these. They're so cute, and they weren't that expensive really. 1,300 yen, so not too bad. Oh, I've already taken them out. I got point protectors. Sorry. The thing that we saw everywhere, and if I find a shot of it, I'll show you, but the thing we saw a lot of was these doll kits or pick and mix sort of things. And they've got lots and lots and lots of different designs. Basically, you get a little naked doll, and then from there, you can buy all the accessories and add-ons and bits to make it into a fully fledged little character. Oh, there it is in the full packet. So he bought one for me and one for our daughter. We got plain black for the hair, just easier when you're sharing it. We got a stand each, and then he got us some eyes. So there's other accessories you can get as well. I can just make the clothes, but it's got lots of accessories. This, what are you? Oh, this is the pen for the dolls. This book has so much in it, and patterns and how to put on the hair and all sorts of things. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait to make that. Why is everything in Japan covered in plastic, honestly? He got me this little remnant piece of this lovely hand-dyed gradiated fabric. This is Chusen dyed Tanuki hand towel, a Japanese hand towel handkerchief dyed in Japanese traditional technique Chusen. You can enjoy its soft hand feeling even after washes, which is one of the features of Chusen dyeing, and it's very soft, and I love the colors, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's really lovely. It's got a really nice weave to it too. But these adorable folding scissors, they're just cool. For bag making little things, these cute little clippy bag toppers, some adorable tulip look stitch markers. They're white and they're from tulip and they look like tulips, and I just think they're really adorable. Oh, he got me some really nice brushes too, like brush pens and brushes. Can't wait to actually use all this stuff. He's excited about this. I'm going to show you guys. This is a fancy mechanical pencil from a brand Kuru Toga, which everyone in the mechanical pencil world, do you know it was a thing? It's a thing. They love them. The reason they love them, it rotates as you use it. Each time you press the pen down, lift it up, it rotates a tiny bit, and that means that it doesn't create a slant on one side. It just continually keeps the point. So that can be really good. He thought it'd be good for pattern drafting, and I agree. Got me a pair of pretty scissors. My mum and I both collect pretty snips and scissors and stuff, and I thought these are really pretty. I love them. These are so pretty. These are little kits to make accessories, jewelry, things using the Japanese fabric, and they're both in purples, which I love. So I'm really looking forward to making those. It's got the tools in there as well. So I think this one is for a hair accessory, and this one is for a set of earrings. He also got me a couple of felting kits. Felting is quite a big thing in Japan, and I've been wanting to try it. So he got me this one because it's an otter and I love otters. And then he also got me this one because of the bums. They're adorable. He also got me, which I've already started to use, a starter kit of all felting things. More bag making supplies. These are some handbag straps that are pre-made so that you can just make the bag or put together different pieces you want, or replace your own. More of these handbag toppers. I thought this was just the cutest tag for a bag that you make. It says, sewing equipment, sewing workshop, best quality in the town. I just think it's really cute. Oh, he got me one of these like clover snippy doodads, but basically like you can snip threads and yarn and stuff with this rather than having to have a pair of scissors. We do a lot of traveling, so I thought this would be really helpful. He got me some like closures for bag making. I got these, he got these things which are like pliers, but specifically for bag making to close off ends and things like that. My all-time favorite needles. This is my favorite. I love clover needles and I love them. The black quilting embroidery needles, they're my favorite. Oh, this is a pen with a torch inside it. So that's pretty cool. When you write, you can have like a little tiny torch just on what you're writing. More closures, more eyeballs, a little scissors, leather case for the scissors he got me, snips, scissors, whatever they are. Yeah, more felting tools. And then the thing that I asked for more than anything else, he got me a mini loom. It's really, really, really teeny tiny. It's even smaller than the ones that I make to put in the shop. So I'm really excited to try something so small, and it comes with different fabrics in there. Fabrics? It comes with different threads in there so that you can try it out for yourself. You can either use it for repairs or you can just like make a little, I don't even know, a little thing, a little patch. The only other thing that I have up here that I can show you is this, which looks a little bit horrifying, but it's actually a tiny little desktop vacuum cleaner. Just got a button here. So you can either use the nozzle or you can take that off and you can just run it straight over the top of your desk, which is really fantastic if you're sewing and overlocking especially. You've got lots of little bits of fluff all over your desk everywhere. This is perfect. This is one of the best things that Michael got me from Japan. This is a smocking template and I've actually already used it. I used it in a video for making my daughter a Croatian costume. If you want to see that, I'll link it above. This thing is so handy and a lot cheaper than getting a smocking machine. I also got some equipment and some blanks for whittling and for woodworking, and I got a sharpening stone as well. These have all been safely put away in the garage and I love using them and taking them away for camping especially. That is it for our little tour of Nippori Fabric Town in Tokyo. I hope that you enjoyed coming along on the journey with me as my husband took us through all of Nippori, and also that you enjoyed having a look at my little haul of stuff that he got for me when he was over there. If you are enjoying my content and want to see more, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, all that good stuff. If you'd like to see more shopping adventures, make sure that you tell me in the comments below and like this video so that I know that that's something that you would like me to make more of. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure that you check the links down below for anything that I can link, as well as links to my shop, my patterns, all that kind of good stuff, which also help to support this channel. And yeah, I'm gonna go make something. See you later.
Oh God. Terrifying. Oh God, this is weird, eh?
Putting that as a thumbnail.
Good start. Good start of the video.
100% gonna be the thumbnail.